I, 34 male, just served my wife, Veronica, 32, divorce papers, and the look on her face when she called her powerful lawyer ex was worth every penny I spent setting this up. Let me back up. Met Veronica 4 years ago through a dating app. She was beautiful, confident, successful in pharmaceutical sales. First date, she mentioned her ex was this hotshot divorce attorney. "We're still friends," she said. "He handles all my legal stuff. Super protective of me. Should have run then, but I was an idiot in love. We got married 2 years ago. That's when her true colors started showing. Any disagreement, she dropped. You know, my ex is one of the best divorce lawyers in the state, right? Like it was a get-out-of-jail-free card for any behavior. Want examples? Here's a greatest hits album. When I suggested separate checking accounts for personal spending, Dennis would have a field day with that in court. Makes you look like you're hiding assets. When I asked her to contribute more to household expenses, she made $90K to my $75K. Dennis says a good husband provides. Don't make me call him. When I found out she'd been taking money from our savings for her sister's MLM, Dennis already said that's considered marital support to family. Totally legal. She name-dropped Dennis maybe 3 times a week. Used him like a weapon. I couldn't even argue about her spending $400 on skincare without hearing about what Dennis would do to me in a divorce. 8 months ago, I'd had enough. She just threatened me with Dennis again because I didn't want to co-sign a loan for her brother's food truck business. I said okay to her face. Then I started planning. First thing I did, looked up this Dennis Fitzgerald Esquire. Big firm, impressive record. The kind of lawyer who could definitely make my life hell. So, I did something crazy. I made an appointment, sat in his office, explained my situation, how my wife constantly used his name as a threat, how she claimed they were still close and he'd destroy me if we divorced. Dennis laughed, not a chuckle, full belly laugh. Veronica Hirth. She's been telling people I'm her ex. Turns out they went on exactly 3 dates 5 years ago. She got drunk at a firm party, threw up on a senior partner's shoes, and Dennis never called her again. She'd been texting him occasionally since, which he never responded to. He had his assistant send her a cease and desist letter 2 years ago when she listed him as a reference on a rental application. She actually tells people, "I'm waiting in the wings to help her." He was genuinely amazed. That's borderline stalking. I hired him on the spot, retained him for the full divorce proceedings, $5,000 retainer, worth every penny. For 8 months, I documented everything, every threat, every mention of Dennis, every financial manipulation. Dennis coached me through it all, told me what to document, what to save, how to protect myself. Meanwhile, Veronica got worse. She started spending more recklessly, saying things like, "What's yours is mine anyway." And Dennis says wives get half of everything, plus alimony. Ran up $15,000 in credit card debt on cards in her name only. Bought designer bags, shoes, took her friends on a spa weekend to celebrate her success at work. Last week I filed. Dennis handled everything. We filed on grounds of financial irresponsibility and emotional abuse. Yes, constant legal threats count. Serve her the papers yesterday at her sister's house during their Wine Wednesday. Her sister was there, perfect witness. Veronica laughed when she saw the papers. I told you about Dennis. You're so screwed." She called him right there on speaker in front of her sister and 2 friends. Dennis Fitzgerald's office. "How may I help you?" "It's Veronica." "Put Dennis on. Tell him it's urgent." "One moment, please." Then Dennis's voice. "Hello, Veronica. How may my new client and I help you?" The silence. The absolute silence. Her face went from smug to confused to pale. "What?" "Dennis, it's me, Veronica. My husband just served me divorce papers." "Yes, I know. I prepared them. As your husband's attorney, I need to inform you that all communication needs to go through your legal representation. Do you have an attorney?" "But you're my attorney. You said we talked about Veronica. We've never had an attorney-client relationship. As I stated in my cease and desist letter 2 years ago, please stop claiming otherwise. Your husband has retained my services. Please have your attorney contact my office." He hung up. Update 1. Veronica has lost her damn mind after the dentist reveal. She went nuclear, but not in the way you'd expect. She doubled down on the lies. She's been telling everyone, friends, family, co-workers, that Dennis and I are conspiring against her, that Dennis is still in love with her, and I somehow stole him to get revenge. She's created this whole narrative where she and Dennis had this epic romance, and he's only representing me to get closer to her. Her sister called me yesterday. Ronnie says you threatened Dennis into taking your case, that you have something on him. I sent her the cease and desist letter Dennis's office had sent Veronica 2 years ago, the one where they explicitly state they never had a professional or personal relationship and to stop using his name. Sister went quiet. Then, oh my God, she showed me fake texts from him for years. Turns out, Veronica had been creating elaborate fake text conversations with Dennis to show people. She'd save someone's number as Dennis Redart, Lawyer Bay, and would text herself between her phone and an old tablet, had whole conversations about how he still loved her, how he was watching out for her, how he'd protect her from anyone who wronged her. But here's where it gets wilder. Dennis's firm did some digging with her sister's help. Veronica has been using Dennis's name for everything, threatened her landlord with my lawyer, Dennis, to get out of a lease early, told her boss Dennis reviewed her employment contract and she could sue for harassment. There was no harassment. Got a discount on her car by claiming Dennis was handling a legal matter with the dealership. Even told a guy at a bar who wouldn't give her his number that Dennis would sue him for emotional distress. Dennis is considering his own legal action for defamation and fraud. But the real kicker? Yesterday, Veronica hired an actual lawyer, some ambulance chaser named Jerome Watts, who advertises on bus benches. He called Dennis's office demanding Dennis recuse himself due to prior intimate relationship. Dennis sent him all the documentation, the 3 dates 5 years ago, the cease and desist, screenshots her sister provided of Veronica, admitting she barely knew Dennis, but his name carries weight. Jerome dropped her as a client this morning. She's now representing herself. First thing she did, filed a motion claiming Dennis and I are in a romantic relationship, and this is a conspiracy to steal her assets. Her assets. The woman with $15,000 in credit card debt and a leased BMW. She's 2 payments behind on those assets. Update 2. Court hearing was yesterday. Buckle up. Veronica showed up in a white suit. Weird choice, but okay. With a rolling briefcase like she's Elwood's. She'd been posting on social media about taking down the patriarchy and exposing the truth about corrupt lawyers. The judge, a non-nonsense woman in her 60s, looked exhausted before we even started. Veronica's opening. Your Honor, I'm here representing myself because every lawyer in this city is scared of Dennis Fitzgerald. He's obsessed with me and has poisoned my husband against me. Judge, do you have evidence of this obsession? Veronica. 5 years of text messages. She pulled out printed screenshots. The judge reviewed them, then looked at Dennis. Dennis, Your Honor, these are fabricated. I provided documentation showing M. Worth has been using my name fraudulently for years. We dated briefly 5 years ago, 3 dates, and I sent her a cease and desist 2 years ago. Judge reviewed Dennis's evidence, including the metadata, proving Veronica's texts were fake. Judge, Miss Worth, did you create these false messages? Veronica, they're not false. He deleted his side and is making me look crazy. Judge, did you or did you not receive a cease and desist from Mr. Fitzgerald's office? Veronica, that was just for show. He had to protect himself professionally while we carried on our relationship. The judge actually rubbed her temples. Then came the financial disclosure. Veronica claimed I was hiding assets, said I must have millions stashed away because how else could I afford? Dennis, I provided bank statements showing the $5,000 retainer came from my savings, showed my salary, my expenses, everything clean and transparent. Veronica then claimed the debt wasn't real, said I forced her to spend money to make her look bad. I showed receipts, everything in her name, her signatures, her selfies with the purchases on Instagram. One literally captioned, retail therapy because hubby's being a buzzkill about money again. Hashtag, treat yourself. Dennis got my back. The judge ordered temporary support calculations based on our incomes and the fact she makes more than me, no alimony. She keeps her debt since it's all in her name and clearly personal spending. Veronica stood up. This is a kangaroo court. You're all in on it. Dennis owns this whole system. Judge, Miss Worth, sit down or I'll hold you in contempt. I want a different judge, a male judge who hasn't been corrupted by Dennis. The judge gave her one warning. Veronica kept going, saying this was a conspiracy, that she'd go to the media, that Dennis would regret crossing her. Contempt of court, $500 fine. As we left, Veronica screamed at Dennis, "You could have had me. We could have been a power couple, but you chose him over me." Dennis, completely deadpan. "Veronica, I chose my wife over you. We've been married for 4 years. You met her at the firm party where you threw up on my boss." The look on her face when she realized Dennis is gay and married. Priceless. Final update. Divorce is final. Here's how it all shook out. After the contempt charge, Veronica tried one more Hail Mary. She went to the state bar with a complaint against Dennis, claiming he had a conflict of interest. The bar investigated, found her claims baseless, and actually opened their own investigation into her fraudulent use of Dennis's name and reputation. Turns out, impersonating an attorney-client relationship and using it for financial gain, that's fraud. The car dealership, they want their discount back. Her former landlord is considering small claims court. Her employer launched an investigation after learning she'd been lying about having legal counsel review her contracts. But the real karma came from an unexpected source. Remember Veronica's sister? Well, she started doing some digging after seeing those fake texts. Found out Veronica had also been lying about having a trust fund. She doesn't. Her college GPA, 2.9, not 3.8. Her sales numbers at work, she's actually on a performance improvement plan. Even her age, she's 35, not 32. Her entire persona was built on lies. The confident, successful woman I married. Fiction. She'd been living on credit cards and false bravado. Final divorce settlement. She keeps her debt now up to $18,000. I keep my retirement and savings. We sell the furniture we bought together. Split $5,050, about $2,000 each. No alimony either way. She pays my legal fees, $8,000, for the frivolous motions and wasting court time. She tried to appeal, but can't afford a lawyer. Tried to represent herself again, but the appeals court rejected her filing for being incomprehensible and lacking legal merit. Lost her job last week officially for performance issues, but her sister told me it was really because she kept threatening coworkers with her lawyer, Dennis, and HR finally had enough. Dennis, he's considering a defamation suit, but will probably let it go. His husband thinks the whole situation is hilarious and wants to frame the cease and desist letter. They invited me to dinner next week. Apparently, I'm not the first person to retain Dennis after their ex claimed a relationship with him. I'm the third. Veronica's last text to me before I blocked her. "You destroy my life, Dennis, and I could have been happy if you hadn't interfered." She still believes her own lie, still thinks Dennis was her ex, her protector, her secret weapon. The woman created an entire false reality and got so lost in it, she couldn't find her way back to the truth. I'm in therapy, working through the gaslighting and manipulation. Dating isn't even on my radar right now, but I'm free. No more threats. No more Dennis will destroy you. No more walking on eggshells. My lawyer, the one Veronica spent 2 years threatening me with, he sends me a Christmas card now. His husband writes the funniest holiday newsletters. Sometimes, karma doesn't need your help. Sometimes it just needs you to make one phone call to the right lawyer who's tired of someone using his name in vain. To anyone in a similar situation, document everything. Don't be afraid to call their bluff. And sometimes, the monster in the closet they keep threatening you with, it might just be your best ally. Edit. Since people are asking, yes, this is all real. No, I didn't know Dennis was gay when I hired him. That was just beautiful cosmic timing. And yes, Veronica still occasionally posts about her stolen love, Dennis, on social media. Her sister screenshots them and sends them to me for laughs. I don't look anymore, but apparently she's now claiming they had a secret child together. Dennis and his husband are considering that defamation suit after all.